Guys, welcome back to our channel. Okay, so right before we jump into this video, I just wanted to share with you that I am doing a voiceover right now because the audio in this first clip was like really staticky, so I had to just mute it for a minute. Okay, so first ingredient is 1.5 cups of warm tap water. It cannot be hot, like boiling, because that will kill the yeast. Okay, next ingredient is 1 tablespoon of dry active yeast. If you have trouble with your yeast going bad, then just keep in the refrigerator or the freezer. And here we are just putting this in. Another ingredient that we forgot to actually put in this video is 1/3 cup of white granulated sugar. Just mix it all in, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, and then whenever you come back after that amount of time, there should be this like thick foam on top. And if there is, then that means that your yeast is alive and you're ready to proceed. Okay everyone, our yeast has proofed. It took about 10 minutes. It took a little longer this time. To prove that the yeast is alive, you just pull it back and you can see how it's thick, and that means that the yeast is alive and you're ready to proceed. Okay, now we're just going to stir this up. You want to go ahead and whisk it? Okay, our next ingredient is 1/3 cup of oil. You can use olive oil, but we're going to use coconut oil. Okay, our next ingredient is 1 egg. And the video that we're watching to know how to do this, they said just 1 like room temperature egg or fresh egg. One that hasn't been refrigerated, but I mean you can because I have done that before and it's fine. I'm cracking Skittles cubes. We just added some. Okay, so for this recipe, to make perfect bread every time, you do not measure your flour. I know that sounds crazy, it's not normal, but the truth is you just don't measure your flour. You put in however much is needed until you get that right consistency. So I'm using just 1/4 cup. I'm just going to put in some, because the video we're watching says that you need to put in some flour before you put in your salt, because they say that salt kills yeast, so you need to have something to like put between that. Okay, our next ingredient is 2 teaspoons of salt. So we're just going to go in here with that. In accordance with the video. After you put in your yeast and your warm water and your sugar, make sure it's proofed. Then you put in your egg and then a little bit of flour and some salt. Mix it all together, and now that that's mixed, we're going to add in the rest of our flour. So, as we said earlier, there is no set amount. You just put in flour until you get that right consistency, and we'll show you what that looks like here in a bit. Okay, and since it's getting a little bit thicker, and our whisk is, a little kind of small, we will be switching over to this Dutch dough hook, or Dutch dough whisk, whatever you want to call it. So it can still act as a whisk, but it doesn't get all like, wound up, clumpy, maybe.
You don't continue stirring it as it's a big mass on your whisk.
Yeah. Okay, so
Bethany, a terrible job at it.
Bethany is now putting flour on our counter. This is the texture of our bread dough. It's still a little sticky, but with kneading, as Bethany said, we can fix that. You might need to take this off, the sleeves and everything. And yes, we're gonna go wash our hands. Cleanness is always good.
Here you go.
Okay, so here Bethany is starting to like knead the bread. We really should have like put more flour in it while it was still in the bowl because it's too sticky right now, but we were just too tired of putting in more flour. So
It's getting better.
it's almost like a claw, like a huge claw.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. So basically what you do is you try to put it into like this ball, and then you pull out like one end, and then you push it into the middle with the heel of your hand, and then you turn it, and do that again, and it just keeps getting into like this smooth ball. So you want the top or the bottom to be smooth so it'll rise and all that good stuff to where it looks good, I guess. Be careful not to over knead it though, that is pretty important. See this? Okay, so basically the next step is after it's all like smooth on the top, then you're going to cut off a piece right here at like the corner. And according to the video that we just watched, you're just going to like work it with your hands. And then you'll need to hold it up to like a window pane or a ceiling fan light, like some kind of light. And in here you should be able to see like some gluten strands and get it to be really thin. So, okay. So, you hold up, okay, that's really bright. We need to hold it up to the light and see just how thin we can get it. And if you can get it really thin, then you've probably kneaded it enough. And if you see strings, then you've probably kneaded it enough. And strings are gluten strands, but if you aren't seeing any, then you'll need to knead some more. See? You see it?
Mm-hmm.
So, as you can see, there are strands here, and it looks good enough to me, but I think I'm gonna knead it just a couple more times. The reason I'm kneading it some more is because you have to put in the little piece that you took out. But be careful not to over knead your bread. Okay, so the next step is to take a little bit of oil and put it in the bowl that you've already used to like mix together the ingredients. And with your hand, just like try to smear the oil along the bottom and the sides. Not yet. Can't that's too much oil. No. I can't do that. I can get it. I'll have to knead it again because it has to be smooth. Okay, now that's all. It's fatter right there. Okay, I don't know why, but anyway. So now that our thing is all oiled, we're just going to gently take this dough ball up from like the bottom. So hopefully we don't get any like finger marks or anything in it. And then we'll put it inside the bowl and we'll squish it around. Although I think the bowl
let's get the other one. Look out. There you go. Oh, can you have the plastic wrap? It's in that long drawer by the dishwasher. Okay. Okay, so I've done this before, but I've always done it in this bowl, but since we decided to use this glass bowl, it's like too narrow. So we're gonna have to put this dough inside of this newly oiled bowl now. And you just swish it around. How do you show? How do you show that? Then you. I don't know how to do. Okay, that's impossible. You just turn it over with your hand. Okay, it's falling apart now. Anyway, and then you turn it over with your hand and oil the other side.
Unless you're fancy, you can actually flip it.
Yeah, I can't flip it. We tried. That's a sad oily ball of dough. Okay. And next, can you do this actually? My hands are kind of. Oh, and the cutter's coming off right there.
Let's see.
It's so hard to rip those things. Okay. And we just put it, some plastic wrap over the top. You can use a towel. Ah! That feels so hard.
I'm trying to cut it.
Okay. You can use a towel, but in the video that we're watching on how to do this, they say that using plastic wrap works better or faster or something. Okay. So we're going to stick this in the oven, our dough ball and our oiled pot with plastic wrap over it. We're going to just set this in the oven, not with the heat on, but with the oven light on and the door closed for 30 minutes. To let it rise. This is its first rise. See you back in half an hour. Okay, so now Bethany is taking this bread out of the oven. Okay, we're gonna do the poke test. Basically, so you poke down the bread, and if it stays down all the way, then it has over risen. But if it comes completely back up, then it hasn't risen enough. But this was the first rise. We will need to do a second rise. Okay, so here's our oiling loaf. And we're just going to put a little bit of flour on top and just fold it back in. Are you guys seeing all these bubbles? Well, probably not, but there are so many bubbles from the gases in the yeast. Oh wait, you have to drop it first. Okay, you have to pick it up and drop it from kind of high to try to get some of the bubbles out. And you have to punch it down a little bit, I think, probably. I'm not sure.
That's really weird. I'm punching the bread.
Like this. It's fun, isn't it? Oh, there's no point. So yeah, you guys will be seeing
Like a pizza person.
So you guys will be seeing bubbles in this from the gases from the yeast. And that's okay, just try to get the bubbles out. Okay, it's coming. Okay, it's time to put it in half. It's really hard to get this even.
Okay.
Okay. There, we just get one. Fun. Okay. So basically, you try to put it into a ball once more. Oh, a bubble just came out. plates, so whatever that is, 2 like bread pans. And we're just going, they're already greased, and we're just going to put our bread inside of those. You're supposed to put the corners to where they're against the corners. So
Put the corners against the corners.
yeah, put the corners against the corners, just like try to spread it there. Not actually sure why, just how it is.
Because it's bread.
Yeah. And whenever you do this, you'll get more bubbles, so be sure to pop them.
Nah, you know, just bubbly, and then you get a bunch of holes in your bread. Come on, bread. You know you want to.
Okay. Here it is.
It's a competition. My bread's better.
Mine's smoother. And this sticky, actually. See?
Because I flipped mine inside out, so the other side I get flour too.
Less sticky. Okay. Oh. Look at that side. Okay, and now we just put the bread into the oven. And again, don't turn it on, just the oven light. Close the door. So we just took the plastic off and we just preheat the oven to 375 and we're just going to let it bake now for how long?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Bethany and I are now pulling out our bread. We did have some trouble with our yeast actually rising because I think it was like kind of going bad. I'm not exactly sure. So normally this bread gets pretty tall, but here it is. And now we need to do our thumb test just to make sure that it's done. And it'll just slide right out because it was greased. Like sweating skills could use work. Okay, so here is the bread, and whenever we do the thumb test, it's just where you like hit on the bottom of the bread just to like make sure it's done because it'll sound hollow if it is done. Sounds done to me. Okay. Okay guys, so here are our loaves. Very pretty. So now we're going to cut it and try it. It's been about, I don't know, maybe half an hour. Look how pretty that is. Such a pretty bread. Okay, Bethany, try it.
It's very soft.
Very soft bread.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So how would you rate this bread?
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. You heard her. It's soft and it's 10 out of 10.